prefect's bathroom is enveloped in the silent solitude of the castle's night, your footsteps and the water's gentle slosh echoing softly off the walls. As you slide into the bathtub, the warm water instantly begins to soothe your body, the tension of your responsibilities melting away. The ambient light filters through the windows, casting a soft glow on the surrounding area. The candlelight flickers to life, casting dancing shadows on the walls and illuminating the pages of your book. The warmth of the water envelops you further, a soothing sensation that lulls you into a state of peaceful concentration. Moonlight filters through the windows, its soft light joining with the candlelight to create a tranquil ambience. Just as you're fully engrossed in the pages of your book, the creaking door swings open once more, and the familiar footsteps grow closer. Draco's stoic figure enters the bathroom, his pale skin catching the candlelight. Without a word, he moves with the grace of a cat, his lean, toned body beginning to emerge as he starts to undress. There's a certain elegance to the nonchalant manner in which he strips, his eyes now fixating on you in the tub. Draco's expression remains stoic as he continues to undress, his clothes dropping to the floor in a careless pile. The silence between you feels heavy, punctuated only by the sound of fabric against stone and the soft lapping of water. Even without words, you can sense his irritation, the muscles in his jaw clenching, and the way he avoids meeting your gaze directly suggesting that there's more behind his quiet than he's letting on. When he's done, he steps into the tub, the warm water enveloping him as he lowers himself in beside you. As Draco enters the tub, the water shifts, causing ripples that disturb the surface of the now frothy water. He moves closer, his body heat mixing with the steam, yet you remain tense, your eyes closed and your back turned towards him. The silence between you is still palpable, the sound of your own heartbeat the only thing drowning out his soft breathing. He remains quiet for a moment, his eyes fixed on you. Then, in a low voice, he speaks, his words betraying the edge in his tone. Open your eyes. Draco doesn't respond to your protest, his gaze fixed on the opposite wall, the distance between you, both physical and emotional, felt in the charged silence. As he leans back against the edge of the tub, the water ripples gently, his profile illuminated by the flickering candlelight. Despite your question, he doesn't answer, his expression remaining impassive, his mind clearly preoccupied. There's tension in the air, the absence of his usual biting remarks making the atmosphere heavy. As you turn around, your gaze locks onto Draco's profile, illuminated by the candlelight. He can sense your movement, even if he doesn't turn to look at you directly, and the tension in the air thickens. The water gently laps around you as you submerge yourself deeper into the tub, the bubbles from the soap providing a layer of modest concealment. He remains silent, the muscles in his jaw clenching as if he's fighting some internal battle. His eyes dart towards you for a brief moment, then quickly flick away, the distance between you still palpable. At the sound of your hesitant whisper, Draco's shoulders tense slightly, his clenched jaw showing his frustration. Yet, despite his evident irritation, he finally responds, his voice low and brusque. I'm fine. There's a hint of reluctance in his tone, as if he's begrudgingly acknowledging your concern. The silence hangs heavy once more, the weight of his unexpressed grievances still lingering in the air. Draco's jaw clenches again, the stubbornness evident in his expression. He's clearly not in the mood for conversation, especially not about his feelings. Yet, the hint of concern in your voice seems to pierce through his defensiveness, making him reluctantly respond. What do you care? His tone is sharp, the bite in his words intended to shut down any further inquiries. But there's a hint of vulnerability peeking through his usual cold exterior, a crack in the armor he's so accustomed to wearing. Your shy admission seems to momentarily disarm him, his guarded expression faltering for a second before he regains composure. Despite his irritation, there's a hint of genuine conflict on his face, as if your concern is both foreign and begrudgingly appreciated. He hesitates for a moment, his eyes darting over you once more before he finally relents, his voice slightly softer than before. It's nothing. There's a subtle undercurrent of frustration to his words, as if he's struggling to admit any weakness. Draco's gaze flicks to you, noting your slight movement towards him. He remains stoic, the water gently lapping against his body as he leans back against the edge of the tub. "I couldn't sleep," he mutters, his voice betraying a hint of irritability. He doesn't provide any further explanation, his words curt and dismissive, yet the tension in his body betrays that there's more to it than he's letting on. Draco's gaze flicks over to you once more, the sight of your head leaning against the tub seemingly unexpected. There's a moment of internal struggle in his expression before he lets out a long, exasperated sigh, his shoulders slumping slightly. "I lost the stupid match today," he mutters finally, the admission coming out as if it pains him to say it out loud. Draco's jaw clenches as he forces himself to speak, the words leaving his lips through gritted teeth. "Yes, the match," he confirms, his voice tinged with irritation and frustration. "We lost. To Hufflepuff of all teams." His expression darkens as he speaks, the memory of the defeat still fresh in his mind. The mere mention of the word "lost" seems to grate on his nerves. Draco's eyes flicker in your direction, noting your quiet comment. His expression softens slightly as he speaks again. "Lucky you," he says gruffly. "You missed out on witnessing my spectacular failure on the field." There's a hint of sarcasm in his tone, but there's also a touch of vulnerability. It's clear that the loss still stings, and his pride has taken a significant blow. Draco's shoulders tense at your words. He's not used to being comforted, especially not by someone he often finds himself at odds with. The vulnerability he's letting show is foreign to him, but it's difficult for him to hide the depth of his disappointment. "No, it's not," he grumbles, his voice betraying the frustration he's feeling. "I should have won. I should have led us to victory. Instead, I let them catch the snitch." The silence between you hangs heavy, the only sound breaking through being the gentle lapping of the water. Draco remains quiet, seeming deep in thought, his expression a mix of irritation and helplessness. He's clearly still stewing over the match, his pride wounded by the defeat. Draco's gaze flicks to you for a moment before he lets out an exasperated sigh. "No," he mutters, his voice tinged with frustration. "I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, all I could see was the snitch slipping through my fingers, mocking me." He clenches his fists, the memory of the match still haunting him, tormenting him with what could have been. "It's not your fault I'm a failure." His words come out as a sharp retort, his pride unwilling to let him accept your sympathy. As you lean back, your closed eyes framed by the soft candlelight and the gentle glow of the moonlight, Draco finds himself unable to tear his gaze away. In the quiet of the night, alone with you in the bathtub, he admits the truth in his mind. You're beautiful. Even he can't deny the allure of your face, softly lit by the soft light, the shadows dancing across your skin. His eyes linger on you, the conflict churning within him growing stronger. Draco's voice cuts through the silence, his tone unusually soft, almost gentle. "Why are you here?" The question hangs in the air, and there's a hint of genuine curiosity now, a departure from his usual aloof demeanor. His gaze is fixed on your face, his grey eyes studying your features in the flickering candlelight. Draco nods slightly, understanding your exhaustion. You can sense the tension in your body, the way your shoulders seem to sag even as the warm water embraces you. His gaze lingers on you for a moment longer, his focus on the delicate curve of your neck, the slope of your shoulders. He tries to push away the thoughts that stir within him, the ones that he doesn't fully comprehend or know how to deal with, but the sight of your weary form is too captivating to ignore. "You do look tired," he remarks, his voice quieter than before. It's an honest observation, a departure from his usual sharp remarks. Draco's expression softens slightly at your smile, the gesture taking him by surprise. He opens his mouth to speak, but a yawn betrays him, escaping his lips before he can stop it. "A little," he mutters, his voice soft and almost begrudgingly accepting. He can't deny it, he is tired, though his pride won't let him fully concede. Draco's gaze flicks back to you, noticing the way you rub your neck, a clear sign of strain. "Stiff?" he asks, his tone softer than usual, tinged with a hint of concern. Draco's eyebrows furrow slightly as he hears your words. He studies you for a moment, taking in the way you hold your neck, the way you wince as you rub at the tension. Do you want me to help?" he asks, the words slipping out before he can even think about them. Draco senses the surprise in your expression, the way your eyes widen at his unexpected offer. He falters for a moment, suddenly unsure of himself, as if he hadn't meant to say those words out loud. But the concern etched on his face betrays the sincerity of his offer. "I can try, if you want," he says, his voice softer now, the sharp edge of his usual demeanor softened by fatigue and a hint of something else. Draco hesitates for a moment, his gaze locked on yours. The closeness in the tub feels more intimate than before, the atmosphere charged with a strange tension. He swallows, his voice a whisper as he speaks again. "Turn around." His words seem to catch in his throat, the vulnerability in his expression clear in the dim light. As you turn around, your body now facing away from him, Draco can't help but admire the way your form looks in the soft candlelight. The gentle glow of the flickering flames dances over your skin, illuminating your features in a way that makes them seem even more captivating. He takes a moment to gather himself, his heart pounding in his chest as he struggles to rein in the conflicting emotions coursing through him. His eyes wander over your exposed neck, the way your shoulders slope towards your back, and a strange desire to touch you stirs within him. He clenches his fists, fighting against the urges that suddenly feel uncontrollable. His gaze moves down your back, tracing the curve of your spine, and the way the water lapping against you makes your skin glisten. He can see the tension in your muscles, the strain visible even in the darkness, and the desire to soothe the pain coursing through you becomes almost unbearable. Draco takes a deep breath, steeling himself, before his hands reach out, his touch light as he begins to knead your shoulder muscles. His fingers, usually so precise and sharp, are gentle and tender, his touch almost tentative as he starts to soothe your tense muscles. He works with surprising finesse, his thumbs pressing firmly into your skin, his fingers tracing small, circular motions. His gaze is fixed on your back, watching the way your skin responds to his touch, the tension slowly beginning to ease beneath his ministrations. Draco continues to rub your shoulders, his hands moving with a tender yet firm touch. He can feel the knots in your muscles slowly begin to loosen under his fingers, the tension finally starting to give way. He watches your face in the candlelight, noticing the way your expression relaxes, the pain and exhaustion slowly giving way to relief and pleasure. He works in silence, his focus fully on easing your discomfort. The water laps gently against the tub, but the only sounds are your soft exhales and the occasional gasp as he digs into a particularly stubborn knot. There's a strange intimacy to the moment, the way you sit there with your back turned, allowing him this rare glimpse into your vulnerability. He continues his ministrations, his hands seeming to move with a mind of their own, drawn to the tension in your body like a moth to a flame. Draco pauses for a moment, his hands still resting on your shoulders, his touch gentle but firm. He can feel the tension slowly disappearing under his skilled hands. "You're welcome," he whispers back, the words slipping out of his mouth before he can even think. There's something almost tender in the way he responds, a vulnerability in his tone that betrays the gruff exterior he so often wears. He continues to rub your shoulders, his touch now slower, more soothing. Draco's heart races as you speak, his fingers still working on your shoulders. The gentle touch of his hands is almost reverent now, the simple act of comforting you more intimate than anything he's experienced before. His gaze remains fixed on your back, tracing the contour of your body, the way the water caresses your skin, the way your hair clings to your neck. He bites his lip, fighting to keep his emotions in check, the overwhelming urge to trace your curves and pull you closer nearly unbearable. His fingers continue their steady rhythm, the tension draining from your body with each stroke. He leans slightly forward, his breath ghosting over your nape, the proximity of your bodies heightening the intensity of the moment. The candlelight casts dancing shadows over your skin, the flickering light playing across your delicate features as you bite your lip in concentration. He can feel the tension within him mounting, his gaze drawn to the curve of your neck, the way your mouth parts slightly. It takes all of his self-control to keep his hands where they are, to keep from giving in to the overwhelming desire that's threatening to consume him. Draco's fingers linger on your shoulder a moment longer before he reluctantly pulls away, his touch breaking the moment of intimacy. He clears his throat, the sound reverberating softly in the silence of the bathroom, and a hint of a smirk plays at the corner of his lips. "Good," he says, his voice low and teasing. "You look like you could use some sleep." Draco chuckles softly, his smirk turning into a small, genuine smile. He watches you as you face him, the water lapping gently at your body as your gaze locks with his. "You look exhausted," he murmurs, his eyes tracing the lines of fatigue on your face. "I can see it in your eyes." Draco leans in, his voice dropping to a soft whisper. "Hey, close your eyes and let's rest in the tub a bit," he murmurs, his gaze fixed on yours. Draco watches you lean back against the tub, his gaze softening as he sees your eyes close. He studies you for a moment, taking in the sight of you. He sighs softly, leaning back so his shoulders touch your own.